You don't forget the moment it hits you. When someone you love, your mother, your grandfather, your spouse, suddenly feels different. They're still here, still smiling, still saying, "I'm fine." But something inside you whispers, something's changing. This video is not meant to scare you. It's meant to prepare you. Because in many cases, the signs that someone may be in the final year of life are quiet, subtle warnings that go unnoticed until it's too late. If you love someone over 70, please, don't look away. Watch until the end. You might never look at them the same way again. Death is a natural part of life, but it often arrives slowly, quietly, giving signs to those who know how to see them. These signs are not always physical. Sometimes they are emotional, relational, or deeply intuitive. This video is not about predicting exact dates or making assumptions. It's about recognizing the patterns that doctors, caregivers, and families see again and again in people nearing the final stage of life. Because the earlier you notice them, the more time you have to connect, to prepare, to love, deeply and intentionally. Let's begin with the first subtle but powerful sign. Sign number 1, withdrawal from life's small joys. It often starts so gently, you miss it. The crossword puzzle that used to be their daily ritual? Now it sits half-finished, forgotten. Their favorite TV show? I'm not really in the mood. That walk they took every morning for the last 10 years? I think I'll rest today. You tell yourself they're just tired. Maybe the weather's bad. Maybe they're just having an off week. But over time, the pattern becomes undeniable. The person is slowly detaching from the world around them. It's not depression. It's not boredom. It's a quiet kind of letting go. Doctors call it disengagement, a psychological process that can happen in the final year of life. It's the body and mind preparing to transition. It's subtle, and it's often misread as laziness or fatigue. You'll notice they stop initiating plans. They might decline family dinners. They'll say, "You go ahead," more often than, "I'll come with you." Even their eyes seem to pull inward, as if searching for something far away. This doesn't mean they're unhappy. In fact, many people nearing the end speak of a peaceful detachment, a growing comfort with stillness, with quiet, with the feeling of being ready. What you must know is this. When someone begins to step away from life's small joys, it may be their way of preparing for the journey ahead. How to respond? Don't force them to re-engage. Instead, meet them where they are. Be present. Offer gentle companionship. Ask about their memories. Don't fill the silence, honor it. Because silence, too, can be sacred. Eleanor was 85 when she began to stop tending her garden. For over 40 years, she had cared for it daily, watering the roses at dawn, trimming her herbs, talking to the birds. Then one spring, she just didn't. Her daughter thought it was arthritis. The doctor thought it was fatigue. But Eleanor said something that stayed with me. "I don't feel like watching things grow anymore. I just want to sit and remember." She died 9 months later. Peacefully, quietly, in her sleep. And her garden bloomed on, untouched. Sign number 2, subtle changes in language and conversation. Words matter. Not just what someone says, but how they say it, when they say it, and how often. One of the quietest, yet most telling, signs that an elderly person may be nearing the final phase of life is a subtle but unmistakable shift in the way they communicate. They begin to speak less about the future, and more about the past. They may start using phrases like, "I just want everyone to be okay." "I've had a good life. I don't need much anymore." "I'm tired, but it's a peaceful kind of tired." They may begin to talk more about people who have already passed on, parents, siblings, friends who are no longer here. Not always with sadness, but with a sense of closeness, as if they're preparing to join them. Sometimes, they say things that feel like goodbyes in disguise. "I'm proud of you. You've turned out just fine. Promise me you'll take care of yourself." It's not that they've suddenly become poetic. It's that their inner world is shifting, and the language follows. You may also notice fewer questions about daily events, shorter phone calls, pauses where once they filled the silence, a quiet smile instead of a response. Some people even begin to speak in metaphors. My bags are packed. I think I'm ready to rest. These phrases are powerful, and they're easy to miss, especially if you're not ready to hear them. But if you do notice them, take a breath. Don't correct. Don't change the subject. Lean in. Listen. Yes. What do you mean by that? Tell me more about how you're feeling. Is there anything on your heart you want to share? Because in those quiet shifts, there is often a deep longing to be understood, one last time. Mr. Reyes was a retired carpenter with hands like oak and a voice that still carried weight at 90. For decades, he barely talked about his childhood, until, one summer, he did. He called his grandson one afternoon and said, "Come by. I want to show you something." It was a wooden box filled with old photographs, letters, and a worn baseball glove from 1943. "I think it's time these things had a new home," he said. Over the next few weeks, he told stories he'd never shared before. Things no one in the family knew. He passed away quietly that fall. But because of those final conversations, his story didn't vanish with him. Sometimes, the dying speak more clearly than the living. We just have to know how to listen. Mini reflection: why these conversations matter. When someone begins to speak differently, it's not just about what they're saying, it's about what they need. They may not be asking for help. They may not even be aware of what's happening. But through their words, they are often telling you, "I'm preparing. I need closure. I need peace." And this is your chance, your sacred chance, to give them that peace. Not by fixing, not by solving, but simply by being present. Because sometimes, the greatest gift is not more time. It's being fully seen in the time that remains. Sign number 3. Physical decline that doesn't match their medical history. It's one of the most confusing moments for families. Your loved one's doctor says their vitals look fine. Their chronic conditions are under control. Nothing alarming on the scans. Nothing urgent in the labs. And yet, they're slowing down. They're weaker. Their appetite has faded. They've lost weight. They can't seem to do what they did just a month ago. You think, something's wrong, but no one is telling me what it is. Here's what most people don't realize. In the final year of life, the body often begins to decline in ways that science can't fully measure. There may be no specific illness causing the change. No diagnosis to explain the shift. Just a quiet, consistent downturn in energy, mobility, and strength. This is sometimes called frailty syndrome or the dying back process. It is subtle, progressive, and deeply biological. Your loved one may begin to sleep more hours than usual, eat far less, even refusing favorite meals, struggle to get out of chairs or beds they previously handled fine, walk shorter distances or abandon walking altogether, lose interest in hygiene or personal grooming, experience unsteadiness or begin using walls for support. These changes may not set off alarms in the medical charts, but to those who know the person well, they're impossible to ignore. It's not laziness. It's not depression. It's the body entering a state of conservation, slowing down to prepare for the next transition. And for the person experiencing it, that awareness may or may not be conscious. Caregiver's dilemma: when doctors say, "Everything looks fine." One of the hardest moments is being told by professionals, "There's nothing serious going on," when everything in your gut tells you otherwise. You feel crazy, overprotective, dramatic. But you're not. You're observant. You're tuned in. And often, you're right. Healthcare systems are trained to measure numbers, treat symptoms, and diagnose diseases. But dying, especially slow, peaceful dying, doesn't always leave fingerprints on test results. That's why palliative care teams, hospice nurses, and end-of-life specialists often see what general practitioners don't. They listen to the pattern. They watch the trajectory. They don't look for a diagnosis, they look for the decline. So if you're witnessing this kind of drop in physical capacity, don't be afraid to speak up. Ask questions like, "Have you noticed how much weaker she's gotten? He's sleeping almost all day. Could this be a sign of something more? Is it possible we're looking at the beginning of end-of-life changes?" And don't wait until it's too late to consider comfort care alongside medical care. Because comfort, dignity, and peace matter just as much as treatment, sometimes even more. Robert was a retired engineer, tall and broad-shouldered even in his 80s. He had survived heart surgery, cancer, and a mild stroke. But in the spring of his 87th year, something changed. He wasn't sick. Not in the conventional sense. But his energy was gone. He started eating half his meals, then a quarter. He began to nap twice a day. Then all day. His steps grew slower. He stopped shaving. And one afternoon, he didn't come to the lunchroom at all. When his daughter asked the nurse what was happening, she simply said, "He's transitioning." He passed away 2 weeks later. Peacefully. Naturally. Without crisis. His body had just let go. What you can do, responding with compassion. When someone begins to show this kind of physical decline, don't force them to eat a full meal if they say they're not hungry. Don't insist on activities they no longer want to participate in. Don't panic when they sleep more. Ask, gently, if they feel pain or if they just need rest. This is your chance to shift the goal from maintenance to meaning. Light candles. Read to them. Bring warm blankets. Hold their hand. Ask about their favorite childhood memory. Sit in the silence. Play their favorite song. Because in this stage, comfort isn't just physical, it's emotional. And every gentle gesture tells them, "I see you. I love you. You are safe." Sign number 4. Emotional and spiritual shifts that signal readiness. There comes a moment, quiet, unspoken, when a person no longer seems afraid of what's coming. They've stopped asking, "When will I feel better?" They've stopped fighting the idea of what's next. Instead, they begin to settle. Not into despair, but into peace. This shift is often misunderstood. To outsiders, it may look like giving up. But those who have witnessed it firsthand know, it's something deeper. A kind of surrender. Not to death, but to life as it is. You may notice them. Smiling softly for no reason. Expressing gratitude more often. Talking about dreams, visions, or symbolic moments. Wanting to be near certain people, or avoiding others entirely. Asking for forgiveness or offering it. They may even begin to speak of being ready or feeling complete, even if their body is still functioning. This isn't about religion. It's about the soul preparing to let go. Spiritual language. The subtle markers of transition. In many traditions, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, indigenous, there is a belief that the soul knows when death is near. Some people report seeing deceased loved ones in dreams, feeling a presence in the room before passing, speaking of light, or guides, or a journey ahead, describing moments of vivid clarity after long confusion. Others simply start to say things like, "I'm at peace. I'm not afraid anymore. It's okay if it's my time. I just want everyone to be okay after I'm gone." These are not delusions. These are not hallucinations. They are messages from a part of the human experience that medicine cannot explain, but love can recognize. And if you're listening, really listening, you will hear it. Grace had been fighting late-stage cancer for 2 years. She had gone through rounds of chemo, radiation, surgery, and pain that would make most people collapse. But one morning, after weeks of silence, she turned to her daughter and said, "Don't be sad. I saw your father last night. He was smiling through the window. It's almost time." Her daughter, stunned, didn't know what to say. Grace just squeezed her hand. She died 2 days later. Her face relaxed. Her body light. Whatever Grace saw, whatever she knew, we can't prove it. But we don't have to, because some truths live beyond the physical. How to support someone in this stage. If your loved one begins to show signs of emotional or spiritual readiness, honor their words. Don't dismiss or challenge them. Ask open-ended questions. What do you feel ready for? What brings you peace these days? Create space for silence. Not every moment needs to be filled with talk or distraction. Surround them with things that matter. A photo album. A prayer. Their favorite music. A soft hand to hold. This is a sacred time. Don't rush it. Don't distract from it. Don't be afraid of it. Because this kind of peace, rare, wholly unmistakable, is one of the greatest gifts a human being can ever experience. Mini reflection: why this matters for you, too. As a caregiver, child, spouse, or friend, witnessing this kind of surrender can be overwhelming. You may not be ready. You may want to pull them back to life with all your strength. But sometimes, the most loving act is letting them go. With grace. With tears. With reverence. Because this isn't the end. It's a threshold. And you, by simply being there, make that transition beautiful. Sign number 5. The body's final language. Long before a final breath is taken, the body begins to speak in its own quiet language. It doesn't use words. It uses rhythm. It uses silence. It uses stillness. These physical signs may come in the final weeks, days, or even hours of life, and while they are natural, they are often misunderstood. If you've never witnessed the end-of-life process before, these changes can be frightening. But they are not signs of suffering. They are signs of transition. The body is slowly releasing its attachments to the physical world. And if you know how to listen, you'll realize it's not the body breaking down. It's the body letting go. The most common physical signs in the final days. Appetite and thirst fade completely. It begins with reduced interest in meals, then liquids, and eventually, the person may stop eating and drinking entirely. This is not starvation. This is nature. The body no longer needs fuel for physical repair. It is shifting inward. Trying to force food or water at this stage can cause discomfort. What helps instead? Swabbing the mouth, keeping lips moist, and offering ice chips if requested. Breathing patterns change. Breathing may become shallow, irregular, or pause for several seconds at a time. This is called Cheyne-Stokes breathing, and while it can be distressing to watch, it is not painful. It's the body finding its final rhythm. Skin and extremities cool. You may notice cold hands and feet, discoloration in the legs, or a marbled appearance on the skin. Circulation is slowing. The body is conserving energy for the core. Eyes seem distant or glassy. Sometimes the person will stop focusing. They may stare past you, as if seeing something beyond. Or they may keep their eyes closed, even while semi-conscious. Restlessness or sudden clarity. Some people experience brief moments of agitation or confusion. Others have moments of incredible clarity, a sudden burst of energy, a final message, a last look of recognition. Both are normal. Both are sacred. Long periods of sleep or unresponsiveness. As death approaches, sleep increases. The person may no longer wake to voices or touch. They may appear unconscious, but hearing is often the last sense to go. So keep speaking. Keep singing. Keep loving. They still hear you. Maria was 92, and the last 3 days of her life were spent in near silence. She hadn't spoken in a week. She hadn't eaten in 4 days. Her family gathered, unsure what to say, unsure what to expect. And then, just hours before she passed, she opened her eyes. She smiled. And in a voice clear as sunlight, she whispered, "Don't be afraid. I'm going home." She closed her eyes again. And that was it. She left not in pain, but in peace. Because her body had already told the truth, long before the words came. How to be present in these final hours. If you recognize these physical signs in someone you love, know this. You are not helpless. You are not a bystander. You are the final witness to their life. And your presence, calm, soft, loving, is the most powerful medicine there is. What you can do. Sit close. Hold their hand. Play soft music they loved. Speak gently, even if they don't respond. Forgive them, if you need to. Ask for forgiveness, if they need to hear it. Say, "I love you." Say, "Thank you." Say, "You can go now if you're ready." Because sometimes, they're waiting for permission. Not from doctors. Not from machines. From you. The final year of life is not just about decline. It is about meaning. It's a time of remembering, of reconciling, of releasing. It's a sacred window, fragile, fleeting, and filled with truth. And yet, so many of us miss it. We're too afraid, too distracted, too focused on keeping things normal. But there's nothing normal about the final chapter of a life. It's where legacies are written in silence, where love becomes urgent, where words, if they come, are no longer casual. They are final, and they are eternal. If you've recognized even one of the 5 signs in someone you love, don't panic. Don't run. Lean in. Because what they need most is not more time. It's your attention, your presence, your witness. A second chance while they're still here. The worst regret is not losing someone. It's realizing you never truly saw them before they left. But you have a chance, right now, to slow down, to listen differently, to sit by their side, not as a caretaker, not as a manager, but as a soul beside another soul. Because when we stop fearing the end, we start seeing the person more clearly. And sometimes, what they're asking is simple. Hold my hand. Let me speak. Don't rush me. Don't fix me. Just love me. And when it's time, let me go with peace. Final words. What death can teach us about living. This video was never just about how people die. It was about how we live, how we show up, how we listen, how we stay connected, until the last breath and even beyond. Because the end of life, when honored with courage, reveals the deepest truths. That love doesn't end. That goodbye can be beautiful. And that presence is the most powerful medicine we will ever give or receive. If this message touched you, please, don't keep it to yourself. Here, we speak honestly. Here, we honor those we love by seeing them completely. Here, we walk together, through the hardest parts and the holiest. This is the Elder Way. And we're so glad you're walking it with us.